Welcome back to yet another 213 Crispy video, and today we're going to wrap up our video here on our Short Course 10 4x4 Pro. So stay tuned guys, and we're going to go over what we got underneath this body. Welcome back guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the series here on our Short Course 10 4x4 rebuild, and today is the day that we finally get to talk about how it runs and how it performs. So me and the 4-year-old decided to go do a little bit of bashing with the Short Course 10 here today, and I will say it ran fantastic. My expectations on this particular unit was not very high. It's simply because I bought it more for the kids to bash, but I will maybe race it occasionally here and there. But what I have in it, my goal was to keep this kind of a low budget rebuild and see how little I can spend and still enjoy the vehicle. So with that goal in mind, I started looking for a new electronic speed controller and a motor online for the short course world, and that's something that is new to myself because I'm typically a racer that uses sensored motors instead of sensorless motors, so I don't have a whole lot of experience understanding the terminology of all of those motors until now. So I started scrolling through and found a posting for a electronic speed controller and a 4660 motor, and it was a 660 motor, and it was a 4330 kV, I think it was, rating motor, which is equivalent to a 9-turn motor, which is pretty doggone hopped up for a bashing vehicle. But I'm like, you know what, the price was pretty good. I had a hard time arguing with myself that it was like $50. And if you guys are interested in it, I'll put a link down low in the description on the original one that I purchased. I don't recommend it though. It would not turn this drivetrain at all. I may have a video clip of it not working properly, and if I do, I will roll that now while I'm talking so you can see what I'm talking about. But I installed it, I set it up. It didn't have any kind of adjustments where I can do throttle control, like for throttle stop, and any of that stuff like what I'm used to with my Orion speed controllers that I'm used to using. So it was a low-end build. It was low-end products, and it would not work and operate to what I needed. It wouldn't even make this vehicle run. Like, it would barely turn the tires. So contacted the seller. He gave me this big runaround, and he's an American store, but yet the person I was talking to is from Hong Kong. So that's the first red flag. I know it was a Chinese knockoff version. I knew that when I bought it. It wasn't the end of the world. Like I said, I was trying to keep the price down. It just didn't work. So returned that original motor and speed controller and ended up buying a new one. So I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer, and we're going to talk about what's underneath here now, so that way you get an idea and you can actually see how dirty it is from our bash session today. Okay, so first problem that I ran into while we were bashing it was I did not notice the body mounts, both the front and the rear, are shot. Technically, so is the body. It's been hot glued. I knew that going into it, but hey, it's a bashing body. Who cares? The kids will love it. But this gives you a perspective of scale of the size difference from like this short course truck to my buggy. So this is a B6 buggy. I'm gonna set this right on top. That's just gonna give you guys an idea of the scale between these two vehicles, on how much bigger this thing is comparably to what a buggy is. So, first things first, like I said, body mounts, they're messed up. I have replacements, it's not the end of the world. So, you're gonna notice this thing is disgustingly dirty again. Well, that's what happens when you take a short course truck onto a baseball field, and especially a four-wheel drive vehicle, and just start running the crap out of it. So we're gonna take off the dust shield, and I guess that's what this is called, or splash shield. It's kind of a guard. So we currently have a eBay special of a 4300 4-pole 660 motor and an 80 amp Hobbywing what is it, the Max, they call it a max10. So it's the max10, I think, version. This is the no named version, and I'm using that term loosely because even the paperwork that it comes with has Hobbywing on it, and it comes from Hobbywing. It looks just like the Hobbywing. It just doesn't have the full warranty that Hobbywing offers, but the eBay seller does offer a warranty on this. I did not buy the kit, the ready-to-run kit that he sells. I think the ready-to-run kit was $150, and I have a hard time justifying paying $150 for a knockoff motor and a knockoff ESC that is not an OEM Hobbywing when I can buy the original for $5 or $10 more directly from Hobbywing. So, same guy was selling the kit, started digging through his posts to see what else he was selling, and found out he was selling the electronic speed controller and the motor individually. I wanted to say the speed controller was $75 and the motor was $35, something like that. And it ended up being like $100 to $110 shipped to my door for the motor and the motor and the ESC. I was perfectly fine with that. Well, I don't plan on changing motors anytime soon. This thing's pretty much going to stay in here, so I did not buy the bullet lead extenders. I just cut the existing wiring and extended them and resoldered on the 4mm butt connectors onto my extensions. Same gauge wiring. It's not an issue. I am currently running GOLDBAT 5200s and a 6200 battery on this, and this is, again, it's mainly for bashing. It's for the kids. These you can get on Amazon for like $25 and $30. They're dirt cheap. Highly recommend them for a basher, or if you're kind of on the budget and you just want to get into it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those GOLDBAT batteries for the price and what they offer. I did change from Dean's plugs to XT60s. First thing you're going to say, and I already know it, so don't ask it, why am I running an 80 amp, I think it's 80, yeah, why am I running an 80 amp ESC if I'm running connectors that are rated for 60 amps instead of the XT90s? That's because my other gear that I have, that I race with, runs XT60 units. So for example, my battery discharger that I use, my discharger has a built-in XT60 plug on the side of it, so it's a lot more compatible to run XT60 than it is XT90 plugs. Not to mention XT90 plugs are huge. I don't really need it. I don't think this will be an issue. I really don't. They're rated for 60 amps, and that's very, very conservative. Like, I know some buddies that run massive power stuff on drones, and he swears by XT60s and XT90s. Swears by them. So, he's the one that sold me on that. The tires, they worked fantastic. They are JC Concepts. What are these? Can't even read it. Goosebumps is the name. And I got that on the front and the rear. Those came with it, and it is on a set of aluminum Pro Line wheels. I don't know the model of that particular wheel, but they worked really well in that loose mud, sand crap that was on the baseball field. You notice I've got that stuff everywhere, and it ran fantastic. I am thrilled with how well this thing performed. I can't be happier. I turned the throttle down to 50% on my controller because, again, a 4-year-old was driving this and had a blast. So that's what I bought this for. That's what it's really for, is it's for the kids to have hands on it. So I turned the throttle adjustment down to 50% on top of my radio. Actually, it's more like 30%. And it was still running really well, really fast. I can't be more thrilled with the performance and the total budget that I have in it. So I've got, I think it was $90, $80, $85 ship, most $85 for the chassis with all the extra parts. I have not bought anything besides a pinion, and that was $9 because I was in a hurry with the last one. That's a whole nother problem. I won't get into that issue. So I got $9 in a pinion, and I've got a motor and an ESC, and yeah, and that was 110, we'll say 120-ish, somewhere around there. So I've got just over $200 in my build. I already had the DX3E from a previous build. I already had the goldot batteries. I did not have the 6200, so I bought this one separate. I'll put a link down low in the description for you guys to check out the goldot batteries. Like I said, fantastic for the price. Absolutely love them. And the motor, it's some generic motor. It says Queen's Hobbies Racing Products, but it looks just like the Hobbywings, and it got a little bit warm. So did the ESC, because I was running this dust cover cap on it, and it doesn't allow a lot of breathing, obviously, because it protects the electronics and everything, the housing. And it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and you got a kid that's holding the thing wide open non-stop for 10 plus minutes. It's gonna get warm. He ran it square into a fence post and shoved this front corner up underneath a fence on the side of a baseball diamond, and this tire got pinched up underneath there, and you could sit here and look at it and you would never know it ran into a fence. So this thing is built like a tank, and I absolutely love it. Now the only problem is I gotta clean it again, so I'm gonna use my air compressor to clean it. But with that, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoy. Nope, I see a problem. Front spring's messed up, so I'll have to tinker with that one. So no big deal. Show you what I'm talking about. The spring perch got shoved up in there, so the spring's all the way at the bottom. It's not the end of the world. It definitely needs some setup work. The back end's extremely forgiving. I mean, it squats and sits, which is kind of nice. But I mean, out on my street, I can get out there, and if I'm hot lapping this thing real hard, it will pick up the back end. The front will dive real bad, and this back end will start to lift up, and it'll want a traction roll, but if you control it, it won't do it. But I mean, it's definitely got the bite. It's definitely got the power. So I'm tickled with it, and I hope you guys are. Comment down below if you guys have any suggestions on anything else that you want me to do to the short course truck, because I'm going to leave it like it is unless you guys are curious on seeing something different or whatnot. But I'm going to take these tires off. We're going to give it a nice good cleaning with a air compressor, and I'm going to eventually change out these body mounts. That's a quick, easy thing. You guys don't have to see all of that. But with that, we're going to wrap this video up. Make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the short course truck. Don't forget to like the video, share the videos, and most importantly, subscribe and hit that bell notification. That way you're getting all my new videos when I post them. And with that, we're going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful and fantastic day.